walking through a shadow of a life I used to know. Every step feels disconnected, like I'm drifting in the cold. Voices echo in the silence, telling me I'm too far gone. Every failure like a headline, every right I did was wrong. I tried to fix it on my own, built a kingdom made of stone, but it's shattered in my hands. Now I'm here alone. I'm tired of fighting wars inside my head, tired of lying on this empty bed. Tell me there's a way back home, tell me you're not on my own. I'm lost in the dark, can you find me? Shouting in doubt, remind me who I was before I broke, before my heart turned into stone. I'm calling your name in the silence, breaking through all of this violence. If I'm too far gone to see Jesus, will you come for me?
Every step is like a chain link wrapped around my chest. Every breath is like a countdown till I have nothing left. I've been chasing empty promises, running from the truth, trying to outrun the very grace that's chasing me too. I can't carry this weight, I can't hide from this shame. I need more than religion, I need your holy name.
I'm done pretending I'm okay, done believing I can save myself from who I become. God, I need your soul. I'm lost in the dark, can you find me? Drowning in doubt, remind me who I was before I broke, before my heart turned into stone. I'm calling your name in the silence, breaking through all of this violence. If I'm too far gone to see Jesus, will you come for me? I can't save myself, I can't break these chains. Every road I take leads me back to faith. But you said you leave the 99 to find the one who's lost. You carried every sin of mine when you went up on that cross. It is finished. You paid the cost.
And the grave couldn't hold you, stone was rolled away. The same power that raised you is calling me by name.
I'm not too far gone, I'm not too broken. Your mercy is stronger than every moment. I was lost in the dark, you found me. Buried in shame, you crowned me. Was dead inside, but now I see your resurrection lives in me. You call my name through the silence, no peace into all my violence. I'm not who I used to be, Jesus, you restored me.
I don't recognize. I was lost.
But now I'm sad again.
The Devil Wears Prada 2 is the perfect sequel that has audiences talking.
She knows. How did you blab?
It exceeds
It's poppin', chat. Not that thing.
We were out of the sight of this creature, not even for a second. As we made it to the trailhead with like the gravel, we could hear something crashing down in the forest beside us. We all just ran as fast as we could and jumped in the car, and we drove down the road just as fast as we could until we got to the main road, and then the sky cleared up, and then the stars came out.
How's everyone tonight? Good.
That's crazy.
These woods have been me and Cody's playground since we were just little tykes. And, well, they still are. In the 38 years that I have been here in the Appalachian woods, I have had a couple experiences, some with Cody, that we just can't explain. Story time. Cody and I were searching for a new morel mushroom spot out in Wayne National Forest one time, and we got pretty deep in the cut. On days like that day, we tie little ribbons around saplings about every 100 feet to guide us back out of the woods in case we get lost, or when we're going through new territories we haven't explored. We spend a good part of that day pushing further and further into Wayne. We finally get to a spot that looks absolutely perfect for morel growth. While rummaging around the wet south-facing slope we were on, we notice a fanny pack on the ground. Well, of course, this piques me and Cody's interest, and we decide to stop and take a look at what this bag has inside. We open it up, and there's a bunch of moldy sang, ginseng, and ginseng berry. Being people that like to go out and pick ourselves responsibly, we're kind of astonished that someone went through all the hard work of finding some ginseng just to leave it on the forest floor, especially when a fanny pack clips to your waist. We chuck it off that someone just must have dropped it and lost it, seeing as the bag was camouflage. We put it in our satchel, and we get back to hunting. It's not long until me and Cody start noticing there's an awful lot of bones around. Finding bones happens all the time. It's really not that uncommon. Just kind of rattles us how many bones we're finding in this area. A bit unsettled, we keep hunting anyway. Up to this point, the only sound that we have had accompanying us on our trip has been the sound of all the critters and our footsteps. And that's when we hear it. Kind of an unnatural knocking sound. This sends a chill up and down me and Cody's spine. Cody and I are looking for the origin of the knock when we notice a tree just over a knoll shaking violently. But it's not really a small tree. Whatever it is hitting this tree with a pretty significant amount of force. Enough force to let us know that it's probably time to get the F out of the woods. We start looking around for the last ribbon that we tied, knowing that that's the way out. We try to calmly start walking out of the woods, knowing that running could show that we're fearful. But that knocking and that slamming gets harder and harder, and we realize we probably shouldn't be walking. We should be running. Now, what's normally a pretty easy task of finding one of these ribbons every 100 feet becomes a very difficult task, seeing as him and I are in a blind panic. Every 100 feet, we have to pause and look for the next one, running towards it with the sound of something bipedal, stomping, moving quickly through the woods. Whatever it is obviously very fast and very strong. We can hear limbs breaking and cracking underneath heavy foot, and we use every bit of air in our lungs to get out of them woods as quick as we could. The calamity stops when we're about 2 miles away from our car and allows us to slow down, and we're just looking at each other like, what the F was that? But we have a pretty good idea, and it's not until the next day, facing all of our fear, that we came back to look for a sign of what it was, that we would have that idea confirmed. When we came back the next day, this is what we found. These footprints. Just look at the padding underneath the toes right here and on the heel. Now, I don't know any person that could have been pursuing us with feet tough enough to run through the smilax and thorn.
So either a 400-pound disgruntled moonshiner was chasing us through the woods,
or it was a Bigfoot. Now, this isn't the only experience that Cody and I had with the big guy. I myself have 2 other experiences that are pretty spooky. But to say the creatures in the Appalachian foothills and mountains are just superstition, well, I want to go with our first-hand experience. With that being said, guys, stay safe, stay wild, welcome to Appalachia.
I lived in Appalachia for the first 26 years of my life, more specifically Mason County, West Virginia, which is home to the Mothman. So I would argue that Appalachia as a whole is the anthology series that American Horror Story kind of like wants to be, and it's because of the wide ranging of things and themes that like occur in that region. It is a bizarre region. But aside from all the experiences that my mom and like my brother, me, my dad, and like a plethora of our family members have experienced, I kind of want to talk about our haunted house that we grew up in. And yes, it is haunted. It was haunted and it is haunted. It's a bizarre house, and I have many stories about it. So I've already posted one TikTok about my mom and dad experiencing like a weird noise back in the 1989, 1990, 1991. It lasted many years. But my mom also experienced a weird phenomenon in our house. So we had this driveway that was like mostly gravel, and then we had like a concrete slab. And at the end of the concrete slab, my mom would like notice that something was like stacking change, and like there was always change like lined up along the side of the concrete. And it was not like something that could be explained. Yes, we know crows. We understand it. We know what crows do. They give you shiny things. We get that. But like it was like lined up in a row, and it was always at the end. It was like perfect. And Derek and I did not do this. If anything, we would keep the change. I would never at that age give away a quarter. So, but that's beside the point. So my mom was down in the basement doing laundry one day. That's where our washer and dryer was. And we were not home, okay? We were not home at all. And she said that something threw a penny at her. Like down, it threw down the steps and like went ding, 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 all the way down. Because like our steps would go like this and like arch. Like it would come straight down and then into the basement. And the penny went all the way down to her. That was the first of many experiences this woman had. Okay, but not only that, there was another time it happened when all of us were at home. None of us did it. All of us were at home and this happened. So something was throwing change. It sounds so silly, but something was throwing change down our steps to our basement. And none of us would do it. My dad did not do it. At one point, it was me, my dad, and my brother in a room, and my mom was down in the basement, and we all heard ting, 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 ting. Like, what could explain that? It was bizarre, and that happened multiple times. When we weren't there, when we were there. It freaked me out as a kid, and this is a constant, like, story that my mom tells, because, again, we have no explanation of, like, where the change came from, like, on the concrete side. We get it, crows do that. It wasn't a freaking crow. It was lined up perfectly. And then also it coincided with change being thrown at us, or my mom, who was down in the basement, and it would perfectly, like, go down each step. That's literally weird. So, and this is just one of many, like, weird things that, you know, it's not too scary, but it's like, okay, that's weird. What the heck kind of, like, poltergeist those change? Doesn't make any sense, but it exists in our house, and our house was haunted.
So I'm officially back from my trip to the Appalachians, and while nothing interesting or supernatural happened to me, my grandma did have an experience. My entire family and I stayed in a cabin in Blue Ridge, and after the first night, the next morning my grandma had made a comment that was a little off. We were talking about some bear tracks we found outside, and my grandma says, "Oh, maybe that's what I heard outside my room last night." And she continues, and she's like, "Yeah, I heard what could be like an animal on the roof of the house, and tapping on my window." So obviously the scuffling on the roof could have been any kind of raccoon or a native animal up there. But the tapping on the window is what really got me, especially because her room is on the second floor of the cabin. And keep in mind, my grandma is completely in her right mind, mentally healthy, and she had no clue that there was any type of Appalachian folklore hauntings. She only heard tapping that one night and obviously didn't go up to the window to check. Which, if you know the folklore of the area, it was a good thing that she didn't go and look. So sadly, we will never know the source of the tapping.
The main event in this story happened in 2020, but she said it definitely started years earlier. Back in 2017, she had moved in with her now ex-fiance. He owned this old 4-story building that was split into a few apartments. So they were living in the duplex, and she said that almost immediately things felt off. She said whenever she was alone, she would hear noises, but they didn't seem random. They seemed deliberate, specific. The sound of footsteps and movement, as though someone were walking from room to room. At first, she was just trying to tell herself it's just the house settling, but then came the shadows. She would see them through the crack under the door as though someone were passing by. More than once, it was so apparent that she assumed it had been her fiancé coming home early from work. So she'd run over and open the door, and then silence. But she knows what she heard. So one day, his son had come over, and he, out of nowhere, said, "Do you ever feel like someone's walking around when you're alone, especially when you're in the shower?" And in that moment, her stomach dropped because she was not the only one. So now, a year and a half later, they ended up moving into a different unit in the same building. This one was a smaller ground level apartment. And that's when everything got worse. She started having intense sleep paralysis. She said this sleep paralysis didn't feel like the way people casually talk about it. It felt like a situation where she knew someone was there. Even though she couldn't see it, she knew it was watching. She'd wake up, unable to move, feeling this heavy presence looming and watching her, hating her even. She even began having panic attacks while she was alone, and she was always feeling on edge. She would be angry and depressed, and she felt like something was just slowly draining her. And then one night, it happened. She wakes up completely frozen. Something was on top of her. She could not breathe. It felt like hands wrapped around her throat. It was squeezing tighter and tighter, and her ears were ringing, and she could hear her heartbeat fading. She really thought she was going to be unalived, and she was trying every bit of effort to scream or move or something. And then suddenly she was able to break free and she screamed. And her at the time fiance quickly turned on the light and looked over at her and saw her face, saw her shaking in complete terror. And that's when he told her something he had never mentioned before. His father had lived and died in that exact apartment. And he kind of joked and was like, maybe that's him messing with you. No wonder he's her ex. Anyway, she didn't find it funny. But then she said a few days later, something else happened. She was lying in bed. She wasn't asleep yet. She was just resting with her eyes closed. And then all of a sudden, directly next to her ear, a man's voice yelled, "Jessica." She said this was so clear, loud, and real. And she asked her fiance if he heard it, and he said yes, he did. And then he said something that she will never forget. He said, "That sounded like my dad." She did not sleep at all that night, not even a little bit. And shortly after, she ended up moving overseas and starting an entirely new life in Europe. And I wish I could say that it ends there, but it doesn't. She said this thing followed her. The nightmares continued. The sleep paralysis just kept getting worse. She became terrified of the dark, of mirrors, of being alone, and she always felt like she was being watched. To live on edge like that, I could not even imagine. A literal waking nightmare. So eventually, she went and saw a psychic, and she makes note she did not tell this person anything, no details at all. And the first thing she said was, "There is a male energy attached to you." Jessica's blood runs cold with that confirmation. So the psychic ends up performing a ritual, and then she gave her very specific instruction. She said, "Take this object, leave it somewhere isolated, just drop it and run, and don't turn back." So she did just that. She went to a secluded place, left the object there, and turned to leave it. And the moment she dropped it and turned to run, she heard the voice again. It was the same male voice calling out her name. It was right behind her. She said she didn't stop. She didn't look back. She just ran. And then guess what? After that, everything stopped. No more voices, no more shadows, no more sleep paralysis, nothing. She has not experienced anything like it since. But that doesn't stop her from thinking about it sometimes. And she said she often wonders what would have happened if she would have turned around.
Guys, look at this. Look at this behind me. That is a tree. The roots of a tree. It fell. It done fell over. It fell. It done fell over. I'm on the Appalachian Trail. And I just heard a voice. No, I didn't. Let's go. Come on. Let's focus on the tree. Look at this. Wow. So big. Come on, Coda. So big. Wow. So big. Straight to the car.
If you've ever felt watched or seen something just beyond the light,
Let's watch this.
Sharing music should be simple, organized, professional, and you should always know.
Hello everyone, I'm Max, and today I'm here to maximize your fear. Brand new Bigfoot footage that's shocking the world. Today we take a look at new Bigfoot footage and sightings coming from Canada, Arkansas, and many other places with very convincing evidence. From HD Sasquatch trail camera videos to Bigfoot hunting clips and so much more. Also stay tuned for a special and crazy nature clip at the end of this video. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. So grab your I Found Bigfoot coffee mugs and allow your fear to be maximized as we dive into the newest clear Bigfoot footage that's not AI. Alright, before we get into today's video, I wanted to take some time to thank my newest channel members. Today we have the Top Notch 61 and Annette Perez 4753. Thank you both so much for becoming channel members. I appreciate it more than you know. Seriously, thank you so much. And if you too would like to become a channel member today, go ahead and go down below this video by my profile picture. There's a join button and you can click that and you can join today. Alright, let's get into today's evidence. This very eerie Bigfoot video has been going viral lately. The video is a little mysterious, pretty quick, and uploaded with no sound. And it's believed to have been filmed years ago, but it's just now surfacing. A couple of friends were reportedly camping in a very remote cabin. A cabin miles out into the wilderness with no one around. They thought they were just going to have a peaceful time away from civilization, but their stay would be the opposite of peaceful after this happened.
That cat.
They turned off the lights inside their cabin, thinking they saw someone or something lurking outside. They turn on their flashlight and camera and begin talking to the camera, presumably telling their story. But then the figure they thought they saw outside made itself known. It comes right up to the window and peers in at them, and they capture it perfectly as they turn the camera around. The disturbing face of a Bigfoot-like creature is seen. They're staring right into the face of something unknown. Its eyes reflect the flashlight, its face is huge and covered in thick black fur, and it looks to have thin, human-like lips. The witnesses quickly shine the flashlight away from the creature and they turn their camera off, focusing on staying safe rather than getting a perfect video. And this act here makes the whole thing seem more realistic too. Many viewers find this video super chilling, with many believing it really is a Sasquatch-like creature. And the fact that they were in a very remote cabin far in the woods, this would be an ideal spot for one of these creatures to hide and remain hidden. Did these guys really come face to face with the most infamous cryptid of all time? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Now this one is one of the more realistic Bigfoot encounters I've seen. This one would be very hard to stage or hoax in any way. A large group of tourists were visiting the British Columbia area, and they ventured out into the forest for a sightseeing trip. And while they were out there, they spotted and filmed something they never thought they would ever see.
That might be real.
Sasquatch.
They all film and take pictures, captivated by what they're seeing. Many of them say Sasquatch, knowing exactly what this creature was. It was too big to be a monkey and too bipedal to be a bear. They keep their distance from the creature and get their shots and retreat shortly after.
Yeah, that's probably real.
Why this one would be so hard to hoax is because of the large number of people witnessing it. It would be super elaborate and hard to set up this many people to act and stage a Bigfoot video.
That is fair.
It really seems like these are just tourists innocently exploring the Canadian forests, and they just so happened to stumble upon this. And when the video is played in fast motion, the figure is a little hard to see, but when we slow it down, we can tell it certainly resembles a Sasquatch, just as the tourists say. It's dark, hunched, but bipedal with a domed head, a textbook Sasquatch. In this shot here, when it moves away, we get the best look at it. I mean, this thing looks to be huge, very wide and bulky. The believable clip was highlighted in 2022, but it's unknown if this is when it was officially released. All I know is not many people have seen it at all, so I wanted to show you guys. Now, I personally love this clip, and I hope you guys do too. Did this large group of tourists really encounter and film a Sasquatch? I mean, imagine being a tourist and visiting a foreign land and you come across an unknown creature, an undiscovered creature. I'd probably leave the country and never come back again. So a lot of people say the biggest problem with newer Bigfoot evidence is the possibility of AI. Because of course, AI quality is progressing rapidly and it's hard to tell sometimes.
Well,
here's a brand new piece of Bigfoot evidence that was just released on April 23rd, 2026. And the uploader reportedly ran it through an AI tester, pretty much to see if it has the possibility of being AI. And their results said there's a 1% chance that it's AI. It said, quote, "Not likely to be AI generated or deepfake."
Yeah, that does not look AI.
If this is a real image, it's super compelling. It's very clear, giving us an extremely detailed look at the supposed creature.
In this game, if you can top up $1 in a month, I would bow down and worship you right away.
What?
The uploader also states that the photo was taken in the middle of the woods somewhere in Oregon on a trail camera. And they state the photo not only passed one AI test, but several AI testing sites. And we also get a look at its feet, legs, and hands here. This one was said to be taken of the same being by a trail camera placed very low to the ground. The other one was from a more level angle. I mean, the creature does look pretty realistic too, on top of the HD quality. And as you may know, Bigfoot trail camera evidence has been some of the most popular lately. So hopefully this kind of evidence keeps coming out and keeps getting clearer and clearer. And I mean, there's not much else to say about this one. I think the photo is speaking enough for itself. So, genuine Bigfoot capture, or an AI hoax that somehow passed all the tests and snuck past detections? Your guess is as good as mine. In June of 2019, a female hunter set out into the forest to hunt some turkeys, something she would do routinely. She knew the area well and had been out there plenty of times. But this time, as she was lying in wait expecting some turkeys to come by, something else came by.
So you're hunting, and I'm so startled right now. I think I may have stumbled across a Bigfoot. I'm just not sure. I'm so startled right now. I'm so startled. Yeah, it looks like there's two Bigfoots.
That might be real.
A dead deer in his arm or something, I'm not sure.
Two large bipedal figures walk by briskly, and she watches in fear. Trembling in fear, she records herself, recalling what's going on. And then she shows the figures walking through the woods. The footage is a little blurry, but we can still see the creatures. You can tell she's unable to comprehend what she's seeing. But videoed are indeed two huge, dark, Sasquatch-style creatures. And one of them seems to be holding a dead deer over its shoulder, likely prey they had just killed and now they were returning to their territory to eat it. It carries it effortlessly, showing us it's insanely strong. It seems the so-called creatures didn't notice her as they kept walking in a straight line focused ahead. She does seem to be wearing some kind of hunting gear from what we can see, like a ghillie suit or something similar, so she would have blended in very well. This could have saved her this day. And since it was taken back in 2019, it can't be AI. And what sets this one apart from the rest is the fact that there were two of these creatures. Usually it's just one scene, but these ones were hunting in a pack, working together. Some speculated they could have been mother and father, perhaps going out and hunting for food for their children, and maybe the father is the one carrying the deer. Regardless of what's right or what's wrong, the hunter stands by her experience to this day. She still believes that she encountered two Bigfoots out there that day, an encounter she tries to forget but can't. The following is a brand new Bigfoot video coming from Ontario, Canada, so it seems even more sightings are coming from here still. This one was just taken on April 9th, 2026. A man was out on a large boat when he spotted something weird in the trees nearby. So he zoomed in and he couldn't believe his eyes.
That definitely ain't AI.
He captioned his video, "Bigfoot spotted in southern Ontario over the weekend." Freezing the footage, we see a tall, lanky silhouette standing motionless within the trees. It doesn't seem to move much at all, probably trying to remain hidden and camouflaged. This figure also looks lighter in color. Some Bigfoots are said to be darker, but some are also said to be lighter. And in Ontario, Bigfoot, often called Sasquatch, is usually described a bit differently than in other regions, though the core features stay pretty consistent. They're typically reported as 7 to 10 feet tall, very broad shoulders with a thick muscular frame, and long arms that hang lower than a human's, sometimes reaching near the knees. Witnesses also say it's covered in thick hair or fur, most often dark brown or black, though some witnesses claim reddish or even gray tones like this one. The fur is usually described as shaggy, especially in colder northern areas. What's interesting about Ontario sightings is that many people emphasize how human the posture and movement seem, more so than purely animal-like. That's one of the reasons this creature stands out compared to the known wildlife like bears. And that's why this one stands out even more, because it's clearly not a bear or anything. But if so, what could it be then? A dogman, a giant, a ghostly spirit? One thing's for sure, whatever it isn't human, and it isn't animal, not anything that's been fully discovered here on Earth. Let's take a look at some Bigfoot evidence caught on a TikTok livestream. The livestream clip was just posted on April 17th, 2026. Two Bigfoot hunters venture out into a forest late at night in hopes to come across some Bigfoot evidence. And like I said, this was taken directly from the TikTok livestream itself, so it can't be edited. Take a look.
Do the call again.
See, that sounds like a small.
That sounds like a smaller one. We've had them before, but never like this. We've never had them this active. Thank you for the sunflower. Listen.
See, that's a bigger one.
That is a different. Listen.
The men call out, and they hear an unidentified call come back. It's more of a high-pitched whooping noise, a sound Bigfoot is said to make. They don't just hear it once or twice, they hear it so many times throughout the recording. They even do Bigfoot calls themselves to try to get the creature to call back even more. And it seems to work many times.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right.
We've never had this kind of activity, y'all. Everybody, now this is us calling. Alright, now listen.
It sounds like one running.
Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Y'all hear the dogs? Even the dogs are cutting up now.
Now, they never get visual confirmation of these creatures, but the sounds are enough to them. They fully believe they're communicating with Sasquatches. They also say they hear more than one of them calling back, which you can hear in the video as well. As the video goes on, the noises seem to get closer and closer, and they think they even hear one running. Even the dog.
Chat, I'll be right back.
Dogs around the area begin barking like crazy. Now, whooping is one of the most commonly reported Bigfoot vocalizations. Some report hearing a long, drawn-out whoop rising in pitch almost like it starts low and climbs higher. Others recall repeated calls, not just one whoop, but a series of whoops. One whoop coming from one direction, then another from farther away, as if two creatures are communicating. These sounds usually occur at night or early morning, when the forests are most quiet, like this one. Definitely some very interesting evidence here.
Since you're already playing games anyway, why not earn some free rewards while you're at it? All you need to do is download Buff, let it run in the background as you play.
Here is a trail camera photo from Arkansas, just highlighted on April 22nd. The caption reads, "A massive Sasquatch caught on camera peering directly into a trail cam, deep in the woods of Arkansas."
Huh.
Now the image seems a little out of focus or blurry, likely because the creature was really close, and the camera had a hard time focusing on the scene itself. And if the creature was moving quickly, this would cause more blur and make it harder on the camera too. But check it out regardless. We see a dark figure hunched down, peering into the camera from the right side. It appears to be hunched way down, which would tell us this creature is absolutely massive. Now some skeptics are calling it a bear, and I honestly understand that for this one. But there's something about it that looks more bipedal, more humanoid, and less animalistic. We don't get the greatest look at its face here either, but it seems to have some lighter features. Some portions near the bottom of the face look to be a lighter shade of tan, but the rest of its fur is pretty dark. But there are lots of Bigfoot captures like this that end up being brushed off as misidentified wildlife. Could this be the case here?
Necklace just pulled the back
because
of my
we can't see
hair.
all the details and we don't know too much information besides that it was taken on a trail camera somewhere in Arkansas, we can't say what it is for sure. Sure, it could be a bear or some other wildlife that we know of, and sure, it could be a Bigfoot. And the sad thing is, we may never know. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Nature Clip time. Today's Nature Clip comes from a woman named Sarah Davis. She states, quote, "Okay, but this was the coolest thing I've ever seen in the wild. She was in the Amazon rainforest in Ecuador, floating down a small river. This is when she saw something pretty unexpected."
Heck no.
A huge anaconda is resting on a log right on the surface of the water.
Nope.
She drifts by, pretty close to it, but it doesn't budge.
One thing
The
I
snake
won't
doesn't
mess
seem to
with,
be
chat,
bothered
is
by her presence.
snakes.
But it really is such a cool and majestic sight. Imagine seeing this in real life, just floating down a river in a small boat and seeing such a big snake this close.
I'll go look for
Props to her for getting a
Bigfoot,
good
Dogman,
video of it, too.
ghosts, but snakes, no.
Now, anacondas are actually powerful, highly aquatic snakes, and their entire body is built for life in the water. The most famous species, the green anaconda, lives in slow-moving rivers, swamps, and flooded forests in South America. Anacondas swim using a motion called lateral undulation, which is the same side-to-side wave movement they use on land, but it's even more effective in water. Their long, muscular bodies push against the water in smooth S-shaped curves, propelling them forward quietly. They also have a few key adaptations that make them excellent swimmers. Their eyes and nostrils are located on the top of their heads. This lets them stay almost completely submerged while still seeing and breathing, similar to a crocodile. They also have dense, heavy bodies that help them stay submerged rather than floating. And they have slow, stealthy movement. They don't have to rely on speed. Instead, they glide silently through the water to ambush prey. They can also hold their breath for several minutes. What a cool video though. I would love to see one of these snakes close up in real life. Let me know if you'd like to see one too, or if you'd rather never see one at all.
I'm good, bro.
Alright, I think it's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, go ahead and smash the like buttons, mom. Let's aim for 5,000 likes for another one of these Bigfoot videos. And if you want to get to know me more, you want to see more of my spooky content, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Maxwell Fear, or you can go ahead and follow me on TikTok, Maximum Fear YT. And be sure to subscribe to the channel.
Alright, let's look at... Let's finish this.
Could this possibly explain why Bigfoot is so hard to spot? I don't know. Whether the video shows a ghost, a Bigfoot, or something else, it's downright disturbing. Let's go ahead and take a look at another new Bigfoot sighting. But this one specifically is of the skunk ape, a cryptid creature infamous in the southern regions and in Florida. It's pretty much Florida's version of the Bigfoot. But anyways, this one comes specifically from the Everglades. A man was out exploring the area when he spotted something that looked off. So he took this video and uploaded it for answers.
We're going up, boys.
Oh, that's a sentinel. Holy crap.
Okay, so we have a tank.
What the fuck?
We see what looks to be a giant bipedal being walking through the open field. It's dark in color and appears to have something on its back. Looking closer, it appears to have a walking stick. This is when skeptics stepped in and said this was just a hiker. A person with a walking stick and a big backpack on their back. And this very well could be the case. The video is taken from too far away to tell, so I can't tell you what it is for certain, but this does seem to be a very logical answer. However, even if this sighting is just a misidentified human, the skunk ape is seemingly not misidentified. It's often described as a smaller, scruffier version of Bigfoot, usually around 5 to 7 feet tall, covered in dark, reddish-brown hair, and infamous for its terrible smell, hence the name. Sightings go back centuries, with Native American tribes in Florida sharing legends of large, wild men living deep in the swamps. In the 20th century, reports picked up, especially in rural areas where hunters, fishermen, and locals claimed to see a fast-moving, ape-like creature darting through the sawgrass or mangroves. So even if this video is just a person in the distance, the skunk ape itself seems to be real, and it's been around for way longer than we could imagine. So real skunk ape or distant backpacker? I'll let you decide in the comments.
Chat, that's gonna be it. I hope you have a blessed night. God